to be employed. And he was able to refer to a person here on the island who he said could arrange for him to get a job. Now, if he or anybody in his situation has a special skill which we do not have and which we require, and which skill can be used to help our country, including helping sharing that skill with locals, then I don't have a problem once they go through the proper channels. If those prerequisites do not exist, then I have a serious problem. Now, here is what a situation like this can and will do. I'm speaking about the gentleman. He will more than likely be working without a work permit. So the government loses revenue. His on-island employer will probably get away with it rather than being punished by the law. Secondly, more than likely he will not be paying Social Security, so that the Social Security fund, which could do with more contributions, will be deprived of those contributions. And these things beg the question, what kind of scrutiny are we getting from the Ministry of National Security in job places? Likewise for Social Security. How come nobody is being punished for these things? Thirdly, the gentleman of whom I speak will be depriving a local person of a job. And not only a job, but a job which the local person might be able to hold for 10, 20, 30 years. And in that way, get a chance to build a financial and social foundation for himself or herself and his or her family. Buy shares in local companies, invest in treasury bills and treasury bonds, in real estate and so on. And in the process, learn about the world of investment and growing wealth for ourselves as a people, which incidentally should be inculcated in our children from an early stage. I'm not speaking just about financial entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship as well, and good citizenship. But these things are lacking, and they will continue to be lacking unless we put the pieces in place. When our people are given their fair chance, most of them will take that chance and expand their horizons, have fulfilling lives, and we will all be the better for it. This is how nations are built, and opening the door to people and resources from outside, while it is a necessary and can be a beautiful thing as we seek to broaden and fortify our economy and society. While we're doing all of that, we have to make sure, however, that opening these doors do not lock the doors on our own people and lock us out to opportunity and empowerment. There is another scenario. Sometimes the employer who hires the foreigner decides to apply for a work permit for the spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend of the foreigner. Skills or no skills, because people tend to hold one head. I encountered this challenge a number of times while I was a minister in government, and I resisted it. Allowing all of these things to happen is nothing more than bad management. It's bad economics and bad social and political leadership. When a government allows these things to happen, it is not painting a very flattering picture of itself. And sad to say, previous governments have all painted the same unimpressive, disappointing, and angering picture of themselves, including the government of which I was a member. Let me show you another point why this is bad economics. The more of these jobs that are taken up by people from outside, the smaller is the pool of available jobs for locals. And when I said outside, I don't include OECS as outside. From Grenada right up, one, I have some concerns about the other members of the CARICOM family. Problems which can be sorted out. but which requires strict and fair management by particularly the smaller islands. So the smaller would be the pool of available jobs for us. With less jobs available to us, more of us will be unemployed and underemployed. That means more of us will need to be on STEP and PAP and the alternative this and the alternative that and uniforms and all kind of things. The government social safety net programs use up hundreds of millions of dollars a year and depriving our people of first priority job and other economic opportunities contributes to that large expenditure on social safety nets and hinders the path to personal independence and empowerment of our people. And the more people who are on these social safety net programs, because locals can't get the jobs, foreigners are getting them, the greater will be the expense on the government. So the smaller amount of locals who are paying taxes are being made to carry a larger and larger burden. And of course, with less locals working and more foreigners taking up jobs that locals can do, many more millions of dollars will flee the economy every week. And I can go on and on with other examples to show that a weak immigration and citizenship policy is bad for the country, economically and in every other way. And when we see things like that happening, they reveal a lack of genuine commitment to and interest in our people and a lack of understanding of the benefits of instituting strict, consistent, and sensible policies with regard to jobs, immigration, and citizenship. And these things also, when they happen, reflect not just administrative weakness, but they reflect corruption as well. We are perceived as a small island. Our governments are perceived as weak, easy marks. That's not a good thing for us. Some years ago, I wrote an article entitled, "When in Rome, do as the Romans. When in St. Kitts, do as you like." Unfortunately, that still seems to be the case today. So something has not changed if this is continuing. And if this, as I say, and I believe, is bad for us. And it's not just about people who are joining our workforce and edging us out to the margins and into becoming more and more dependent on the government and on others to survive. It's also about people coming in here and making money in business and taking out massive amounts of money, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. That should be our money, the people's money, and being allowed to do so by governments. I have in the past referred to some of these Chinese projects that have not been and will not be completed. And while the country and our people are deprived of jobs and other opportunities, the developers of these projects have laughed all the way to the banks in Switzerland, in China, and wherever else. Very little of that money ever comes in here. And the disturbing thing about these Chinese projects particularly that have failed is that they are being re-registered under the new citizenship by investment regulations. And that is fooling people into believing that these projects will now be completed. As I've said before, the government needs to acquire these things and turn these white elephants into wealth producers for the people of this country. These projects offer a large number of rooms and other spaces that can economically and socially benefit and empower our people. The government of the day inherited this problem, and it has to bring a solution to the problem. And speaking of the Chinese, I'm hearing that they are taking full control of the prison project, whereas local subcontractors were doing little bits and pieces. It seems as though they're now hawking it all up and the Chinese or other workers from the other side of the world are moving in or will be moving in. The government can't allow this. These people have already walked away with hundreds of millions of dollars with the applications by the foreigners for citizenship being made to them, not to the government. A decision made by the former administration. The wrongs of the past have to be righted by the leaders of the present. Otherwise, you're going to take the blame that you inherited. Take the blame for the problems that you inherited and did not fix. This is a test for this government to see if they have the backbone to act and to put an end at last, after hundreds of years, to put an end to this profiteering and pillaging of the local people. Then there is a company, I've mentioned this before, which has an exclusive contract to promote our citizenship program. We can't contract with anybody else, but that company has contracts with other countries. How could that be right? And making tens of millions of dollars a year from it. At this stage of the game, the St. Kitts Nevis CBI program does not need any marketing and promoting agency. We don't need to be paying that amount of money. But we still are. And those tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, US, no less, that have gone out of our system thanks to bad governance. That's your money, you know. Your money. You need a better health system, don't you? Where is your money? Better water and energy system, don't you? Where is your money? You need better roads, sewage treatment, food supply, general infrastructure. Your money. But where is it? The contract to renew with this company was signed a couple of months before the last election. This government inherited a bad deal. And if it does not make it right, then it will be just as culpable as the government that made the bad deal. You either distinguish yourself or you get lumped into the bad governance of the past. I saw that contract. It is offensive. It is obscene. It is an act of evil against the people of this country. I have seen on video part of a conversation which exposes the corruption of certain persons in this country. Those people should not be walking the streets of this country freely, but they are. The present administration was granted the honor of leading this country pretty much on the basis of its promise for good governance. These things that I'm speaking about here are all about good governance. Good governance on paper is meaningless. It needs to be brought into action. And that is where the backbone comes in. Anything less would be an indication of deception, an indication of same old, same old. And we cannot and will not have that. I want to end today's commentary continuing in the spirit of protecting the best interests of our people for now and for the future. I want to invite our local professionals, technicians, tradesmen, nurses, teachers, fishermen, contractors, clerks, all of you to invest in major real estate in St. Kitts and Nevis. You will ask, I don't have enough money. How can I invest in real estate? Maybe you can't do it alone. Maybe you cannot do it alone. But definitely, if you hold hands with other brothers and sisters of St. Kitts and Nevis and our OECS brothers and sisters, you can own major real estate in St. Kitts. I can help you with this, and I'm willing to do so. I can show you how it can be done, so that the major properties in the towns and other communities of the country remain in local hands or return to local hands. I guarantee you, I can help you make this happen. Contact me at 662-4921. We are not xenophobic. We want to embrace the world within our small country, but we want to and have to manage it in such a manner that would not compromise the best interests and the opportunities for our people. What could be wrong with that? Until next time, think about this. But more than that, do something about this. Again, contact me at 662-4921. Let me help you see how you can become part of the major land ownership in this country. God bless.
Different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
When they start them there, we are top man, we take charge. Have no reaching now, we are shell down us. Blast like a star in some Galapagos. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yep, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
Welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is Wednesday, April 26, 2023, and it is just 29 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour here in the studios of 98.9. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines are open and we are welcoming your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. If you are in USA or Canada, you can call us the USA or Canada. You can call us at 718-285-6984 or at 305-921-4619. And for the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. The local numbers again are 466-0989 or at 662-0989. This is Voices on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We are also live on our social media platforms, so you can check us out on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We have our first call for this morning, so let's head to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Greetings, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm blessed. I am blessed.
All right, good to hear.
Cornelius, I will listen to the little thing there with Mr. Dwight Askasan, right?
Yes.
I have a lot of respect for him. And certain things what he said, it could be true. But I would like to find out from him, why can't he come and ask why the governor, the Attorney General, didn't pay his Social Security to the government and still holding office? And I wanted to say, well, he is wrong and he should never be in office. That's a big question mark. Everybody should ask, why is it still the Attorney General still holding office when he doesn't commit something to the court? And all what Mr. Askasan is saying, I'm saying it again. He is a good friend of mine. I the one used to go in his office and used to tell him exactly how I felt about certain things. And he also used to tell me he wants somebody to tell him when he's doing something wrong, because that is a friend. If you have a friend and his friend is doing something wrong and you do not go and tell the friend, stop what you are doing and pull yourself together and get yourself together, because you have a family, that is a friend. If you don't want to listen to him, you don't have to turn your back on him. You just let him to know you're not going to stand for nonsense. But I will like to ask Mr. Asafan, why is it the Labour Commission office having more say than the Labour Union, the Trade and Labour Union? Because there are people presently who were sent home and up to now they cannot get the severance pay money. And I want to know what is the hold up between the Trade and Labour Union and the Labour Commission office. These questions Mr. Asafan should come out and tell people exactly what's going on. Mind you, I told you, I am happy of what he's saying. But you cannot look at one picture and painting a different picture somewhere else. My question to him is, why are the Attorney General still holding office when he done breach the court of law of not paying Social Security? And when somebody doesn't pay it, they're coming behind them and they're putting them in prison. And if he could come back and explain to me the reason why, I'll be happy. But we shouldn't just sit down and let it be what it wants to be. Because they are telling people to come out to march and Labour them. Where are the people them going to march for? Who are they going to march for? Where are the union representatives for the people them who will be taking that march? And that is what Mr. Bradshaw and other comrades in the past used to do at a Labour Day rally. They being in front and crying out the cries for the people who cannot help themselves. And that is what happened to the Trade and Labour Union. Does it go in? Does it have people to represent people when people being employed and sent home and cannot get the incentive money? This question I'm putting out to Mr. Asafan. Have a good day.
All right, you too, caller, and thank you for your contribution to this program. This is Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 11:34 here in our studios, and the phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll be taking some more calls. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Yes, Devon, good morning.
Yes, good morning,
and
caller.
Good morning to my friend Doyo. Doyo. And Doyo. Minister Dwyer made several points there, and he's so correct, because for years we've been experiencing them kind of behavior in thinking, where you got people coming and dominating, and it's happening on a big scale now. You understand? And when he's talking about the job, he's right, because this, besides the telecom citizens and other citizens, when you go to these member states, you can't do what's happening here, you know. You got to fall in line. You got to pay a work permit. You got to pay Social Security. And you can't. Now, for instance, Devon, right now, you got a group of young Jamaican girls. They come to the island. Men help her appear and look at work. If you're walking in the nightclub, do not come down and put Zanta like you're selling nothing here. Them things ain't gonna work, it think it's in me, you know. You all is not gonna come and bring down this country here like this. Them kind of things, leave them things in Jamaica. We don't want them things here. You come, you look at job, you help your family back home. This kind of behavior, if you them like that, they ain't gonna work here with me, you know. And others, they sure. We're not going to go down the road with them. You come here, make yourself a good citizen. And let people talk proud about your country and others who here. living here for the extended period of time and working and living up themselves. Don't come here as young Jamaican people and come in here and disrespecting ourselves. So the water level, I had to tell some of them where I sit down here in Portland there, you know. This is not Portmore, this ain't Midwell, this ain't Kingston. See? Are you respect yourself here? I got a lucky the man say you to lay down there by the technical college in the road here, you know. Because these young politicians look like they're trying us in a barrel to cast down the fort of our economy. We're not going to tolerate them kind of behavior. And everything Dwyer says is right. But he must consistent with it. Stop watch face and talk. Because people out in the public know the truth. And we're seeing it daily. Now, what we're seeing is like we become fugitive in our own country and then we walk here with me, no. That is not going to work here with me. Have a good day, Devon. Oh, Devon, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why, when you are about to press conferences with these government officials, I fear to ask them questions? Well, I'm pure in I, you know, to come to the circus and let me and others ask the court of conscience will for you. I am alone to ask questions. You all don't watch them CNN young journalists. Besides Don Lemon and them, I don't watch these young people who are coming through with the journalism work. Don't come on, you all something terrible the other day. The kind of questions I asked you and asking Bradley. Face them in the hard questions.
What questions do you think we should ask?
I'm very disappointed. I am journalist, you know, but have a good day.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. The overseas phone lines are also open. You can call us if you're in the USA or Canada at 718-285-6984. or 305-921-4619. And if you are in the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. Again, the local numbers to call are 466-0989 or at 662-0989. This is Voices for Wednesday, April 26, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the discussion for today. Callers are agreeing with the sentiments or comments, the commentary shared by Dwyer Astefan concerning employment and labor and people coming to the country to work, and suggesting that there needs to be more of a background check from the Ministry of National Security standpoint in terms of vetting people who are coming in. You know, really encouraging our local brothers and sisters to do more. As Mr. Astefan said in his commentary, is not that we are xenophobic, but we also have a role to play here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I know oftentimes we complain and say that, you know, not much is happening in the country and there aren't many opportunities for us to grab. But at times you have to create opportunities for yourself. And if you want to get something done, the truth is you're going to have to get up and do it yourself. And especially for our young people, we can't just wait at home for the government or somebody to come and say, hey, here is something for you to do. But you have education, you have some sort of skill set, get up and use it and provide for you and your family. That is my advice to people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is Voices for Wednesday, April 26, 2023. I am your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. The phone lines are open, and we are welcoming your calls. With regards to the comment by the last call in terms of the journalists and reporters asking the questions, I wouldn't say, well, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not afraid to ask any question to anybody. If I'm attending a press conference, whether it be the Prime Minister or the Premier, I ask the questions that I believe are relevant. Whenever I attend the press conferences, I can tell you that a number of people reach out to me to ask a number of questions. They send questions, really trying to seek an update from whether it be the federal government or the Nevis Island administration. Because of the press conferences, you can't get to ask 10 and 15 questions. And you wouldn't want to ask 10 and 15 questions, but you want to get at least 3 pressing questions in. So what I want people to understand is you won't be able to ask 10 and 15 questions, or all the questions that you would want me to ask. And to add to that, sometimes people would send the questions, and I have to vet the questions in terms of really, fact check and find out if this is actually legitimate and, worth asking. Sometimes people send you a question that's really not a question, but it's rather a statement. And, if you don't really do your homework, you could tie up yourself and make yourself look like a fool. So for me, I'm speaking for myself. I don't think I'm afraid to ask any question. It's just that I do my homework and I make sure that I'm asking the necessary question. Whether people describe or dub the question to be a hard question or an easy question, I ask the necessary or the relevant questions. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have a caller on the line. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls here on Voices. We'll take this call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, my drawback on that commentary that you played earlier.
Yes.
I have a problem with the way certain things were said. I think certain things actually putting people against people. To me, it come across as is us versus them. Think it's versus who coming in. But the truth be told, St. Kitts and Nevis is underpopulated. And if we could take a serious look at it and say we need people to develop St. Kitts and Nevis. And if you look around, you see most of the nationals, especially the younger ones, they actually want to be in social programs. They don't want to work. I could tell you that. Based on my position as a person who employs people. And we should be glad that people coming here and doing the work to move the economy. You look at people coming in here, they will have to live somewhere. So that's an opportunity for business to get, you talk about rent apartments. They will have to eat. So therefore, you find the farming community will benefit because they will have to eat also. So it's an opportunity for the economy to grow with people coming in here. We have a lot of Kittitians who has migrated. And in every single family in St. Kitts and Nevis have someone in somebody else's country. And whether they are legal or illegal, they are in other people's country. So we have to start to be more friendly towards people who are coming into St. Kitts and Nevis. And as far as Mr. Askafan is concerned, he seems to know what is right and wrong. But I could recall that there was time when those people who come in there, he was glad for them to vote for him. I could recall that. So all of a sudden now, he won't know who's supposed to vote and who's not supposed to vote. I think it's a bit disingenuous with what he's doing. I don't know who he's trying to tone at, but I think he needs to tone down. Thank you for your time.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is 15 minutes to the 12 o'clock hour where we break for the midday news. But we'll take a break now to give a shout out to our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. I'll take this break and I'll be right back. Stick and stay.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Insurance Company Limited. We care about your investment. Guarantee you peace of mind. The best team
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
When they start them there, we a top man, we take charge. Have no reaching now, we a shell down hard. Blast like a star in some gallopar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
Welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9 for Wednesday, April 26, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. It is 11:48 here in the studios of Win FM 98.9. Remember, we break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Call us today and lend your voice, your view, and your opinion to the conversation at hand. Earlier, I played a commentary from Dwyer Astafan, a political commentator and former politician here in St. Kitts, a former minister of government, and he was giving his views on, how I interpreted what Mr. Astafan shared. I don't really take it as, and I understand where you're coming from, caller, because what we also have to understand is, yes, there are Kittitians and Navisians who reside in other parts of the world, and as you rightly said, whether it be legally or illegally, and we can only imagine that they perhaps face the same thing as foreigners who go to other countries. They're not from that country, and so it may be a case where first preference is not given to them. What I gathered from the commentary, however, is that we have to make opportunities for ourselves, and we can't just sit back and say that people are coming in to the country and are taking away all of the employment and are taking and are grabbing the opportunities that exist. But we have to equip ourselves with the skills, the education, whatever, to get these jobs and to get these opportunities. There are some people, unfortunately, that have the mindset that because they are local, and I'm talking about any Caribbean country or any island for that, any country for that matter, there is this mentality that because you are a local, because you are from the country where you reside, first preference must be for you. And I beg to differ. I'm not saying that you cannot absolutely be first in your country. But, how do you justify there being an opportunity and you're local, you're trying to get advantage, you're trying to get this opportunity. You don't have what it takes to make good out of the opportunity. And your competitor, the other person, They have the experience, they have the skills, they have the education, the will, and all of that to make good with that opportunity. You're saying to me that because you're local, you're supposed to get first preference. The caller also made an interesting point that these days people want to depend on the social assistance programs. So instead of wanting to work for themselves and provide for themselves and their families, everybody these days are looking for handouts. Everybody these days are looking to see what they can get from the government. And they're not, they don't have the will and drive and the ambition to earn for themselves. And that is unfortunate. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Caller,
Hello.
you are on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I was listening to the commentary. I didn't get it from the top. I tuned in a bit late. But did I heard the minister say that some of these Chinese projects will not finish?
Yes.
If they will not finish, why government is pumping in money to these companies all the time? Why not part of the demands that government makes sure if I lend you money, these have to come to completion?
Well, I think, I stand to be corrected, but I don't think it's a case where the government is funding the projects. I think it's a part of the CBI arrangement where...
where the CBI is government, ain't you?
Right, but let me finish. I'm saying I think it's a part of the CBA arrangement where they get citizenship and in return they start the project and some of them don't even finish. So they end up with the citizenship or whatever benefit from that program. I don't think it's actual money, but they don't finish the project. I stand to be corrected, but I think that's how it is.
Because you have like Ramada. I think Ramada should have done open. Ramada has been going on almost over 10 years. I mean, they have at least 9 billion down there. They have up to about 175 rooms. Even if they're building more rooms, at least those rooms should have been occupied. Another one crossed by Ras University again. I don't know what's going on in this place, man. And you speak about people sometimes getting job in front of foreigners. Really and truly, some people don't really want to work hard, but the system on is very slack. I mean, if people want to work, they're supposed to make sure, advertise the work, that local could get it before they just give it to foreigners. I've been down Port Zante many times. I work down there, and sometimes I ask people, they're working, they say, yeah, they say they just come maybe about a week, 2 weeks, and they don't start to work. You wonder how that happens? The other one with the Chinese, the one with the prison. Man, that's another case again. How could the government could have all Chinese over there working? What happened to the locals? It doesn't matter if them is running the project. This is not their country. In the end, it's not them going in the jail. It's we going in the jail. There are people going in the jail. They should not have some people and people need work.
Maybe Chinese people going in there too. You never know.
We have to see that one. But, I mean, it's not a bad idea because it's like a rehabilitation. I mean, it's not just like synergy. You will load and trade. Right. You should come out much better than the one in town. In town, it's not much you can do there. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But it's left to see, man. I want to see more local people get job there, man. A lot of the work that they're doing. And the Chinese, sometimes, I watch them how they build. A lot of the time, but I don't know so much about here, but sometimes when they build, they don't full every black soil. When you're building concrete these days, you have to full all of the black soil. When you see some of the disasters and some of the buildings that happen in China, a lot of the black soil, they're half, they're not full. So down here, we're not accustomed to that. We're accustomed, maybe we have a big column wall. All of the black soil are full. So you make it very strong. I hope they are not doing that up there with that prison. I don't know. But as Stefan said, make a lot of sense, you know. The government need to tighten up, you know what I mean? You inherit what other government had, but you have to tighten up on it, you know. You say you're going to do good governance, so let's see some of it, you know what I mean? Even if you have to stop some of the project just to make sure things is doing right, you have to do what you have to do. Tough ball, tough love. Anyhow, brother, you take care, my friend.
All right, Colin, thank you so much for your contribution to the conversation for today. It's 11:57, and you're tuned into WinFM 98.9 for Voices. It's Wednesday, April 26, 2023, and I'm your host for today. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. We'll head back to the phone lines, and we'll take some more calls. Let's take this one. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Cornelius, I always tend to have a different point of view, and I don't think I'm going to change my points of view as a citizen of this country living here in St. Kitts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the same way we should be blaming the criminals for the activities, the nefarious activities out there killing people, and not just laying the blame solely at the foot of the government, is the same way we should be blaming Kittitians for not having the wherewithal to go out there and seek employment or try to create employment for themselves. It's a fundamental problem. Former Minister Astefan, right on point every week. What he's saying, if you're really paying attention and you're not playing politics, you'll understand it. You live right here. And when I say you, I'm using it collectively. We all live here, and we understand what is taking place. Yes, we can't run from the fact that the foreigners are coming and taking over all the jobs. Guess what's happening? Some of the locals are aiding and abetting these foreigners, finding work for them, and employing them, the ones who have businesses, because in their minds, you can tell clearly that they recognize the Kittitians don't really want to work in a general way. I mean, it's sad. It's very, very sad. You know, we have all these welfare programs. You know, we could call them social, but it's welfare. And how far can one get being on a welfare program? I certainly wouldn't want to be on anybody's program to live a mediocre life. Kittitians should be aspiring for a much better life. I mean, you speak this way, people take it personal. Yes, take it personal because you need to take it to the next level. You should not wake up on a daily basis and expect your life to be just like how it was yesterday. Every day it's supposed to get better. And if it's not getting better, well, have a dialogue with somebody who, you know, could kind of enlighten you. It's all about education. We cannot continue to go down the same path. This is 2023. And then what's going to happen is all sorts of jealousy is going to trickle in because Tom is getting ahead and Dick is not getting ahead. Well, why is Dick not getting ahead? What can Dick do differently to get ahead in a similar manner? I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm following
We
you.
have to look around and emulate the positive. If we continue to think negative that, oh, somebody needs to be sorry for me, my life is hard, well, hello. The same way we want to be part of the solution, we are really part of the problem as well. And we cannot continue to dance around and skirt around the issue and use politics. With regard to these white elephants that's around St. Kitts, the government going to have to find a way to really address these things. I'm one of those persons who believe, Mr. Cornelius, that all these abandoned buildings around, I believe somewhere in our system they should be able to tell who's supposed to be the owners of these properties, the derelict buildings and stuff, and try to say, hey, look, let's repossess these and, or reclaim them, whatever word you want to use, and let's sell them to people who look like they might want to develop the country. You move around St. Kitts and you see all these old buildings. So unsightly, wooden structures falling apart, and we're going to continue to just say, okay, it's good enough to put a politician in office, go to public meetings, listen to the rhetoric, the sound bites that, want to make sure that you go straight to the voting station, put in that X for me, and then, based on the numbers game, I come out now, I'm a minister. My rhetoric the day before on the platform is no different now, I'm in government. I'm hardly speaking to you anymore. I'm talking above your head. This is what's happening. Mr. Cornelius, we have to call a spade a spade. A lot of us, the reason why we don't want to call a spade is because of our pockets. We tell ourselves that, every mid-month or whatever time of the month, we're getting a little paycheck. And those of us who are apart from the paycheck doing a little begging here and there, we need to turn a blind eye. I'm not one of those persons, that's why I speak. And I don't think I'll ever find myself in that category because that is not my mindset. Whatever we do in life, Mr. Cornelius, has to resonate with our mindset. We have to use our brain. It begins right there, not somebody else's brain. We have to think for ourselves. And that is why I would blog and say 2 heads better than 1. Government doesn't have all the answers, if any at all. You almost feel like it's a game. Everybody goes in and, it's different players, but it's the same game. And, certain people will be taken care of while others out there suffering. And the others who out there saying they're suffering, are they equipped to do the jobs? We don't know. Okay, what training are you going to provide now for them to, step up to the plate? I remember the days, Mr. Cornelius, when I worked in the banking system, when I first started back in 1986. There was always the talk about, you can't have a local manager. In other words, the person can be born in St. Kitts and be a manager in St. Kitts. And, for heaven's sake, it was just pure foreigners coming to be bank managers, living high off the hog, all the perks. You think it's because they had known the job? No. Because I once had a technocrat who told me, don't ask me any questions, because I don't know. And he came in from overseas to look at our work, and he's telling me don't ask him any questions. I mean, I'm just being frank with you. It's not everybody out there with a big certificate has a handle on the job. The ordinary folks who they're working in the banking system, they're the ones who have to read the manuals, learn as much as possible, and get the job done one way or the other. I mean, this is reality. I'm not speaking, from a pie-in-the-sky standpoint. I'm talking facts. And we have to understand if we don't step up to the plate as a people, we're not going to get far. We can't continue to rely on social programs that keep you poor. I do not want to be in that category. Like I said to you, I don't think I ever will be because I wasn't raised that way. And it's nowhere I want my situation to get worse. Mr. Cornelius, when I left the banking system, you think I left it because I wanted to be worse off? As we would say, hell no. Everything we do on a daily basis is supposed to guarantee a better life. And a part of it is our brain power, our mindset. If you sit down and wait for somebody to do it for you, it's not going to get done in a hurry. And that is why you're hearing the complaints all around about, when I checked with Tom, and I checked with Dick, and I went to this government minister, and I went to this department, and I get in a run around in a wild goose chase. Oftentimes, our folks have to get each other angry before we could get action. Because that's just something about our psyche. You have to make noise, as we would say in local colloquial terms, go on bad. For people to get angry with you, for it to seem as though you're getting action. You can go to somebody in a nice, pleasant way and, make a request for a particular service, and it gets done. That person has to flex on you. You hear people talk about it. And I'm somewhat happy that the kind of life I live, Mr. Cornelius, I do not really experience that because I'm not going to have tolerance for it. I could say a lot more, but have a good day.
All right, caller, and thank you so much for sharing your comments here with us for today. This is Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. It is Wednesday, April 26, 2023. It is 5 minutes past the 12 o'clock hour. We'll break now for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll definitely continue the conversation right here. The phone lines will be open, so you can call us to share your views and your opinions on the topic at hand and things happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We'll take this break now, and we will be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A Excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories: healthcare transformation, the focus of ECCB's 7th Growth and Resilience Dialogue. Sustainability, investment in industry focus, education, the focus of recent SKTA and hoteliers meeting. Dr. Natalia Wheatley sworn in as premier of BVI. Internationally, the jailed Russian opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, has told a court in Moscow he is now being investigated on terrorism charges. Now the details. Resilience begins with health and personal responsibility, because without investment in the health of human capital, a country cannot withstand, absorb, or move forward from shocks, according to the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy N.J. Antwine.
What will it take to double the size of our economies over the next decade? What will it take to double the size of our GDP? St. Kitts and Nevis, it's 3 billion EC. If you go across the currency union, it's 21 billion. So how could we get from 3 to 6? Or from 21 to 42 over, say, the next decade? That's a question that we will continue to visit throughout this year and going forward, because we have to answer it. But what I will say is that key to doing that big push is our health. Because at the end of the day, resilience begins with personal resilience, our health. And human capital is at the core. And health is the key to maintain our human capital. And by the way, I always say about resilience. What is resilience? It is our capacity to withstand shocks, absorb shocks, and bounce forward. Not back, forward. Because every crisis, every shock must have a legacy that allows us to be better than we were before the pandemic, better than we were before the hurricane, better than we were before the global financial crisis. That's a key part of how we build resilience in this region and transform this region. And ultimately, as we say in our vision, we don't just want to strive, we want to thrive. And that starts with the health of our people.
The ECCB governor made those remarks during the central bank's 7th Growth and Resilience Dialogue, which started on April 25th and is expected to end on April 26th. The ECCB, the OECS Commission, the World Bank, and the University of the West Indies, UWI,
are hosting the two-day dialogue under the theme An Appropriate and a Sustainable Model for Healthcare in the ECCU OECS, Agile Infrastructure, Traditional Medicine, and Medicinal Cannabis. Governor Antoine lamented the state of personal responsibility men take regarding healthcare.
As a region, we must invest in primary health care to save lives and livelihoods. Indeed, that is productive for our families, for our public finances, our foreign reserves, and our economy. And I want to be very clear. In investing in primary health care, we have to invest in diagnostic facilities to support early detection and treatment, but we must also, of necessity, and this is important, take personal responsibility for our health. That includes healthy eating, active lifestyles, and a commitment, a culture of checkups, medical checkups. Too often, we resist doing these medical checks, and I'm happy that the prize is a medical check. And some of you would say, give me the money in my hand. Well, your health is more important than money at this point. Because too often we defer and we delay. And many times when we do it, it's only because our women, our wives, our partners, our mothers insist that we go to the doctor and get checked. And far too often when we finally arrive at the doctor's door, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and then we are going around with a bowl in our hand trying to raise money for a stage 4 situation. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see this happen over and over again in our member countries. And therefore, the culture of taking personal responsibility also has to be spoken of, even as our governments invest in primary health care.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Terence Drew, in his remarks on day one of the dialogue, also spoke to the need for universal health care as a measure to curb the financial pressures of private health insurance, which could add to the lack of health insurance coverage for the most vulnerable.
We are currently in the midst of an extensive consultative process and moving swiftly towards the operationalization of a national health insurance scheme which will offer tremendous financial benefits to our people. That again is part of building a resilient and sustainable system. A lot of people across our sub-region do not have health insurance. And as a result of that, you know what the outcome is. Earlier death, lack of treatment that they could have had otherwise. And those things not only affect health of individuals and communities, but they affect our economies as well because of lost years of productivity. And the economists, they know better than me that that would have a tremendous negative impact on the growth of any economy. COVID-19 has taught us that enough well-trained human resources for health is required to respond to any public health threat. However, we need to grasp the latest technologies to enhance its offering to attract other persons into the profession.
Part of the discussion is the need for a more holistic approach to medicine by incorporating traditional indigenous medicines into the healthcare systems.
Our healthcare providers tend to be more oriented into modern medicine and should also be sensitized to the role of traditional medicine because the typical patient often has a different worldview to that of nurses and doctors. How many times we are told as doctors, well, I stopped at the blood pressure pill, I'm taking the bush. It is a common thing in St. Kitts and Nevis. I support the call for more research in this area to inform how traditional medicine can effectively interface with modern medicine. During the pandemic, we witnessed firsthand the benefits of the collaboration of both forms of medicinal practices, modern and traditional, to combat the symptoms of COVID-19. For example, the blend of turmeric, ginger, and lemon juice for its anti-inflammatory effect and to help boost the immune system.
One medicinal herb traditionally known for its health benefits is cannabis, and the opportunity for use in local medicine and like St. Vincent and the Grenadines could be exported to the economic benefit of the Federation. But investments are needed to build out a cannabis industry in line with international health regulations.
Research has underscored the therapeutic benefits of cannabinoids. Cannabinoids is a fancy name for cannabis, marijuana, ganja, as we call it in the sub-region. And we therefore welcome the third plenary session. We anticipate regional data on the uses of cannabis, along with hearing about the best practices in establishing a medicinal cannabis industry. I can say that St. Vincent in the OECS has already shipped medicinal cannabis to Germany, and that St. Vincent has a lab that is already approved by the EU system, where once their cannabis is tested to be safe in St. Vincent, it is allowed to be shipped into the EU market. So there's already some advancement in our sub-region. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we intend to develop such an industry and hope to partner with our colleagues in this regard.
The objectives of the dialogue include, but are not limited to, convening a high-level meeting of key strategic partners and influencers on issues common to health resilience, sharing presentations for key social partners and specialists that can contribute to policy formulation and advance initiatives on healthcare resilience, development of national, regional, and international networks to advance the region's healthcare transformation agenda, catalyzing a research initiative on the cost of healthcare in the ECCU-OECS and the way forward involving academia and public and private collaborations that can rebound to the benefit of healthcare resilience in the ECCU-OECS. Day 2 will feature a virtual health expo showcasing new technologies in healthcare. Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Marsha T. Henderson, and executives of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority met with hoteliers for an update meeting. The meeting was held on April 24th, 2023, and the Tourism Minister said that one of the critical points addressed was getting hoteliers to buy into the Federation being a sustainable island destination.
We wanted to get an update from the hoteliers to see how they performed in terms of stayovers during the period January to March 2023, and from all accounts, things are looking up. We also wanted to discuss the initiatives that we intend to embark upon this season for the rest of the year and the final quarters of the year, particularly the marketing initiatives, training, and getting our stakeholders to buy into St. Kitts being a sustainable tourism destination. We want to ensure that hoteliers understand that we want them to embark on eco-friendly practices so that in a few years we can have a destination. If we continue to operate how we are operating, we may not have a destination to sell and to provide food and shelter for our people.
Industry stakeholder Mark Schneider, General Manager of Sunset Reef St. Kitts, shared his thoughts on the meeting.
I thought today's meeting was a great example of our tourism community coming together to work together to create a sustainable future.
Melnesia Marshall, Deputy CEO of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, said part of the discussion with the hoteliers was about the importance of education and training and preparing a workforce that could staff the industry on the island.
During our discussions, we looked at how we can partner to ensure that we promote the destination and also to get those heads in beds. One of the things that we looked at particularly was how we can partner with our learning institutions to ensure that we're able to supply the workforce with the level of and quality of employees that are required to really make St. Kitts more competitive. We looked at the fact that customer service is critical. We have to raise the level of our service excellence, and so during the summer we will be engaging our learning institutions as well as those employees who are currently working in the industry to ensure that we raise that level of service that is being offered to our visitors and of course our nationals, because we do offer staycations.
Additionally, the Deputy CEO shared that the need for reinstating the St. Kitts Nevis Hotel and Tourism Association HTA formed part of the discussion with the hoteliers.
We also looked at how as partners we can work together. We have resources that we can pool to ensure that we are making the best use of those resources, whether they be financial or in kind. And so we looked at how we can come together to partner. And one of the things that came out of the discussion was the importance of the HTA. And that organization has not been functioning for a little while, and we made some positive steps this morning as to move forward to reinstating the HTA, and it is a critical part of the partnership with the St. Kitts Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism as we move forward in making the destination more competitive and be more strategic and targeted in our marketing efforts.
Deputy CEO of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, Melnesia Marshall. In regional news, Dr. Natalia Wheatley sworn in as Premier of BVI. That story and more from Carib Update.
Natalia Wheatley began his first full term as the British Virgin Islands Premier on Tuesday night, after his party was given a lifeline by a one-time First Lady who contested the general election for the first time. After hours of negotiations, Lorna Smith, the wife of former Premier Orlando Smith, agreed to support Whitley's Virgin Islands party. Her team made it clear that she was not joining the VIP, just giving support to the formation of the government. The VIP had won 6 seats following Monday's general elections, but it was not enough to form a government in the 13-member House of Assembly. Whitley had taken over a year ago as Premier after the then head of the VIP, Andrew Foy, was arrested while on a business visit to the United States. On Tuesday night, he was sworn in on his own strength.
I, Natalia Whitley, do solemnly and sincerely affirm that I will well and truly serve His Majesty King Charles III and the people of the Virgin Islands in the office of the Premier.
The VIP did better than most pundits had predicted in Monday's vote. The National Democratic Party, on whose slate Smith has contested, won 3 seats. The other 2 winners were party leader Marlon Penn and former controversial Education Minister Myron Walwyn. The Progressive Virgin Islands movement also won 3 seats. Whitley praised the team he has been able to put together.
I am humbled and honored to once again be appointed Premier of the Virgin Islands. I also want to thank my ministerial colleagues and their appointments as we continue to renew and rebuild these Virgin Islands. I'm very pleased that we will be ably assisted in these endeavors by the Honorable Lorna Smith, OBE, who will serve as Deputy Premier. Truly, we have a Lorna in our corner.
According to reports, the VIP had first sought to form a coalition with Julian Fraser, who was one time a member of the party before he bolted a decade ago after losing a leadership battle to Foy. The negotiations with Fraser reportedly ultimately broke down after he had demanded more than the VIP was willing to give, including the possibility of becoming Premier. Smith had initially campaigned as an independent territorial at-large candidate, but later teamed up with the NDP, the organization which her husband and former Premier Dr. Orlando Smith led as chairman for nearly 20 years. Smith was sworn in as the Deputy Premier. VIP Representative Kai Reimer, as well as Territorial at-large Representative Shari De Castro and 9th District Representative Vincent Whitley, were also sworn in as government ministers. The ministerial portfolios within which they will serve has not yet been announced. Meanwhile, first-time legislators Luce Hodge-Smith of the 4th District and Dr. Carl Dawson of the 1st were appointed as junior ministers. Premier Whitley acknowledged that his new government has work to do in ensuring that people there have more faith in governance.
I acknowledge that voter participation at the polls was lower than previous elections. The government will have to work very hard in the months and years ahead to regain the confidence of those persons who chose not to participate this time around. You have my word that we will do everything in our power to make you proud and to boost your confidence in the political system.
Venezuelan opposition figure Juan Guaido on Tuesday said he's not seeking political asylum in the United States and has not ruled out the possibility of running in a presidential primary in his homeland planned for October. Guaido spoke to the Associated Press by phone from Miami, where he arrived on a commercial flight that departed Colombia's capital Monday night, hours after he crossed the border between the country and Venezuela with the intent of meeting with diplomats and other participants of an international conference focused on Venezuela's political crisis. His remarks came after Colombian authorities said he was subject to an administrative process for having crossed the border without getting his passport stamped upon entry. Colombian President Gustavo Petro insisted Guaido was not deported and traveled to the United States with permission from that country.
We now bring you these international reports.
The jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has told a court in Moscow he is now being investigated on terrorism charges. He said he'd been told by his investigators that he'd be tried by a military court. Mr. Navalny's anti-corruption foundation has been accused of being behind the bombing of a cafe in St. Petersburg in early April, which killed the prominent pro-war blogger Vladimir Tatarsky. An investigator has said 11 people have now been put on an international wanted list linked to Mr. Navalny. He is serving a lengthy prison sentence after being found guilty of extremism. Let's get more now with our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, who joins me from Moscow. Steve, welcome to you. Alexei Navalny, Vladimir Putin's biggest critic, most vocal critic, most well-known critic. What happened at this court appearance today?
Let's rewind slightly, because ever since Alexei Navalny was sent to prison in 2021 for alleged parole violations, he's faced more and more charges, more and more criminal cases, and more prison time, right? So he was then given another 9 years, convicted of fraud. Important to say that his supporters insist that all the charges, past and present, against him are politically motivated. As you mentioned, he is Vladimir Putin's most prominent critic. Now, last autumn, Mr. Navalny said that he was facing another set of charges, new charges of promoting extremism and promoting terrorism, and predicted that that could add 30 more years to his time behind bars. Today, what happened, there was a technical hearing about this new case to decide how many days Mr. Navalny will be given to look through, to study the case against him before it goes to trial. We're talking about more than 196 volumes in this case. He was given until May the 5th to study the case. At this technical hearing, he said that one of the investigators had told him that part of this case had been taken out and a whole new case made around it. He's also going to be accused of terrorism. So, in fact, there could be two more court cases against Mr. Navalny, and he predicted today that the terrorism charges could see him being given life imprisonment.
Yeah, what do we know of his health? Because a couple of weeks ago, his supporters claimed that he was being poisoned in prison, didn't they?
There has been some concern for his health. We saw him today on a television screen. He appeared by video link from the prison colony where he's currently at, and spoke to the court by video link. He has been constantly in and out of solitary confinement. I think he's just been put back in solitary confinement in the prison colony for the 14th time. So his supporters are concerned about the way he's being treated there.
Johannesburg, the wealthiest city in Africa. But for former retail worker Tulane Ngele, living here doesn't exactly feel glamorous. Every morning he, along with 300 others, has to fill a bucket from their dilapidated residential block's only tap. That's so they can simply get a glass of water to drink or brush their teeth.
We are living in a very terrible situation, and we are appealing whoever might help that we need maybe toilets, obviously water. It's life. Yeah, we need water.
Johannesburg has been heavily affected by rolling power outages and frequent burst pipes. Many of its citizens have little or no access to clean drinking water, sanitation and electricity. And that's despite the fact that under South Africa's constitution, those are considered basic human rights. Local authorities are obliged to provide these core services to all. The Johannesburg Department of Housing has said one of its priorities is providing water and sanitation to informal settlements. But LA and his neighbours feel ignored. Residents here have no sanitation and must use buckets as toilets. Without electricity, children play in dark, ramshackle rooms. The ownership of the building is unclear and rent hasn't been paid for years. LA and his neighbours are being helped by housing rights activist Siyabonga Mahlangu.
The city doesn't show any sympathy when it comes to a poor person. They make sure that they treat you in a bad way. That will make you feel that, yeah, I'm not welcome in this particular office. That's what they do.
Mahlangu works for a civil society group, the Inner City Federation. It's been taking the city to court to reconnect basic services. Mahlangu says court rulings are sometimes ignored. Johannesburg's Department of Human Settlements gave no response to requests for comment.
Ukraine says it's ramping up the homegrown production of drones as it struggles to cope with the demand for the technology on the front line. The country has so far purchased more than 3,000 drones as part of its Drone Army campaign, collecting donations from around the world. Our cyber correspondent Joe Tidy went to Ukraine and sent this report.
On the outskirts of Kyiv, the latest group of drone pilots are being trained for the front line. The location is being kept a secret, but instructor Slava is teaching recruits how to use these small drones to spot signs of enemy troops and help guide artillery attacks. The drone used to help the military aim, a DJI Mavic. This relatively cheap hobby drone has become a major tool of this war for both sides. So much so that its Chinese manufacturer banned sales to Ukraine and Russia last year, but still thousands flood to the front line. And the demand for drones is so great, Ukraine has upped its own manufacturing, recently relaxing import laws to speed up production lines. It's also launched design competitions, all paid for from a successful public campaign. Backed by celebrities like Star Wars actor Mark Hamill, the Army of Drones campaign has raised more than $108 million since last summer. Nearly 3,500 drones have been acquired so far. 400 hobby drones have been sent direct in the mail. And it's not just foreigners being asked to donate. In service stations and many shops, the fundraising is prominent. Mikhailo Fedorov is Minister for Digital Transformation and until recently, Deputy Prime Minister. In his government office, he shows me the secret design for a new type of kamikaze drone. Mr. Fedorov says the campaign is about frontline combat and protecting the lives of soldiers defending Ukraine. But the minister has boasted online about new drones able to fly to Moscow and back. And Russia has accused Ukraine of carrying out offensive drone strikes on its territory. It claims this one was shot down near Moscow. You're asking people around the world to donate their drones, the money for drones, for the defence of Ukraine. But what about attacks on Russia, offensive attacks over the border?
Я думаю, що краще про це говорити з військовими. Наше завдання зробити так, щоб у військових були ресурси, інструменти для того, щоб принести нам перемогу.
But as a leader of the country, would you condone drones going over the border?
Тому що Росія вторглася на територію нашої країни, вбила велику кількість мирних громадян, військових, і нам потрібно її зупиняти Росію.
Ukraine's MOD is refusing to say if its army of drones is being used to go on the offensive in Russia. Meanwhile, the donations continue to pour in and more drones take to the skies. Joe Tidy, BBC News in Kyiv.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines:
Healthcare transformation, the focus of ECCB's 7th Growth and Resilience Dialogue. Sustainability, investment in industry focus, education, the focus of recent SKTA and hoteliers meeting. Dr. Natalia Wheatley sworn in as premier of BVI. Internationally, the jailed Russian opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, has told a court in Moscow he is now being investigated on terrorism charges.
Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribou.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organisation on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 12:42 here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. If you reside in the USA or Canada, you can call us at 718-285-6984 or at 305-921-4619. If you are in the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. This is Voices for Wednesday, April 26, 2023. I am Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. Welcome back. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, in the first hour, I played a clip from Dwyer Astefan. He did a commentary, and it was along the lines of employment in the country and people coming into work in the country. You know, the Ministry of National Security doing question the process in terms of vetting people and ensuring that they are following the law and doing things correctly. And callers have been weighing in on that and have been giving their views and opinions on that. I want to continue the conversation for this afternoon. And so the phone lines are now open and we are taking your calls. The phone lines are now open and we'll be taking your calls. Let's take our first call for this afternoon. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, this is Jam now again. Devon, look, let me show you something. And let me tell a caller here who seems to got a problem with Dwyer. See? What Dwyer is talking about, he's right. We ain't works with nobody who come here to make a living. But let me do it properly. What happened to the national security? When we go to this territory, we have to meet these people. The obligation is there. You got to meet them. These people, when the heads of government meet, they make them to feel all is well enough. And when individually we as travelers travel to this country, you got to meet all requirements. Everything in place. You understand? You got to pay the social security once you walk in. We got to look out for the country. We have to look out for the country. So all who bashing Dwyer and saying this and say, Miss Byron is so right. The man them know in the sign, I see it every day, down in Present, I see it every day. Dwyer, when he was a government minister, Dwyer used to agitate that we youngsters become jewelers. Look what happening. Look what happening in the country. Look what happening in Portland. They won't have a good day. None of them want to stop me from talking. I'm born here. Okay, have a good day.
You to call and enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for your contribution to the program for today. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What about you?
I'm doing okay. Giving thanks for another day.
Awesome.
Devon, I've been listening to the conversation. Quite interesting. One of the things that we have to look at is the fact that whatever we see happening in the country right now, more than likely was committed to before this current government was in. Things just don't happen overnight like that. And so we are not aware of what may have been signed off for. And if the incoming government has made a contract that they may not agree with, how easy or how difficult would it be to change that contract? That's already a signed contract, and the government is continuous. So one of the things that we have to take into consideration is, what is it that we see happening? How did it get to be that? People can't just come into the country and just do whatever they want. Somebody agreed to something somewhere. And that's one of the things we have to pay close attention to. Devon, we have a CBI program that very few of us know very little about. Could some of those people that we see working on these sites that we're saying came in here and they're getting the jobs, could it be that they too are citizens of St. Kitts Nevis? Have we ever thought about that? Have we ever thought about the fact that there are people, thousands and thousands of people out there who we've never seen, never heard of, don't know much about, but they have rights, just like you and I, who were born here. And so one of the things that I am to hope going forward that we're going to see is a lot more transparency. We don't know what's being agreed to. I have told my story over and over again, Devon, of being told by an immigration officer at the airport in London about 5 years ago that he had been processing St. Kitts Nevis passports, people with holding St. Kitts Nevis passports, thousands of them, and I was the first person who he had ever met who was born in St. Kitts Nevis. That sent up a lot of signals for me. Who are these people? What is it that we're signing off to? What is it that we're agreeing to that the other guy now is holding in his lap and can't do much about? Those are some of the things that we have to look at. Now I'm going to encourage our people. Show up. Ask your questions. Do it decently. Do it with mannerly. But ask your questions. You have the right. My understanding is that there's a call center coming to Nevis, and the cries are out to go over there, fill out your applications, do this, do that, and people are not showing up. Why aren't they showing up? What is it that they need to know to get a job over there, or they need to do? Why are they listening to other people's story? Why not go and find out their own story? Because a lot of times the other person's story is not the right story. And so our people now have to start. Do your own investigation. If you hear of a company coming to Nevis that have jobs, Google them. Find out who they are. What's their history? Where are they coming from? Where have they been before? Have they been in other islands before? What have they been carrying on? And then you can go from there about your decision as to whether you want to work there or not. But we have to start doing things a little bit differently, Devon. And we can curse the Chinese all we want. Those people are not going to leave their country spending thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to come into our country to open a business if they ain't got their stuff right. One thing about them, they make sure they cross the T's and dot the I's. So we now need to educate ourselves and find out what is involved in the crossing of those T's and the dotting of those I's, so that when we see things, we know exactly what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. But the people on the ground here have to also be willing to answer our questions. The CBI program, why don't we hear about, why don't we ever see them coming to the radio, coming to the television stations to tell us what it's all about? Well, don't they think we have the right to know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was just about to make the point that I don't know what the reason is, but I've asked both former and current Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harrison, current Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, about the CBA program in terms of funds and the demographics in terms of the passport issued, and they never answer. The response from both of them is the same. They say, go and ask the CBI office.
Yeah, but where are they? Why are they? You know, the Social Security people come on the radio all the time and tell us all kinds of things about our monies and how much money is that. Are we sound? Are we not sound? Whatever. Why are we not hearing? I was in a discussion with someone the other day, and they were talking about the board, something about a board, and they've never heard of a board. And I said the CBI program did have a board at one time. The reason why I know is because they were having a meeting, not the board itself, but representatives of the board were at this meeting, which I sat in on. That's how I know that there's a board, at least a board existed at one point. Where they are now, does it still exist? I honestly don't know. But they should now come out. There's something going on in the United States right now that involves the case with Trump and investors with Trump. And they're citizens of St. Kitts Nevis. Their monies are tied up in the citizenship program, the CBI program of St. Kitts Nevis, and that's all coming out in the news. So here's our name being thrown around one more time about people who we don't know. Probably they don't know anything about us or have ever been here. One thing I will tell you, though, is that those people do their homework, huh? They know exactly who and what they're dealing with when they make their mark. But we deserve, to the government of the day, the governments that were there before, the governments to come, the citizens, and I tell people like this, what do you call the thing when you cut off of the child? Help me out, Devon. My neighbor Stringberry here.
Yes.
I deserve the right to know.
Yes.
I deserve, and I shouldn't have to come begging. I should not have to come begging. And those are the things that we should be out there arguing and pushing for the governments to educate its people. So when we come out and we speak, we know what we're speaking about, and nobody can come and pull anything over our eyes. But we deserve the right to know. Educate your people. Educate your people. The government of the day, the past governments. And let me tell you something. It's to people's advantage when they keep their mouth shut up.
Yeah.
But it also sends up a red flag. What is there to hide? What is it that we're trying to hide or we want hidden? Those are the things that we should be paying close attention to.
All right.
Have a good day, Devon. Thank you.
All right, you too, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. This is Voices on WINFM 98.9. It is Wednesday, April 26, 2023, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the discussion for today. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll be taking some more calls. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, and I hope your day has been blessed so far.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
Yes. On the backdrop of your last caller, when all is said and done, I have heard or made mention of our experience more than once in London, right? And that is only one country. That is only one country. And when all is said and done, we have persons here who are accusing citizens of being xenophobic. You see, want to tell us that, we have nothing to worry about. Life here will be a utopia. You know, all of what citizens are feeling is all in the head. You need to dispel that. Because it's one love. Really. Persons who you don't know about. And as the last caller say, they know what they're doing before they make a move. They do the investigation, they do the plan. These are people who are generational. And whoever stands in their way, they don't have a problem wiping out. Everybody else, if we want to use the word xenophobia, everybody else is xenophobic because a lot of them there who have our citizenship. You cannot go to where they are or where they live or where they are born and think you can do or have that free reign the way they have it here. There is someone from St. Kitts, I don't know if it's the same radio station she was on, but I stand to be corrected if it is not WIN. If it's not WIN, it's another radio station where she is in China. She said she opened a business there, and she couldn't open the business in her name. She had to open a business in a Chinese name. She had to have a Chinese in front. So you know what that means? You know what that means. You cannot consider that business to be hers. You know what that means? But we are xenophobic. We are xenophobic. So, dumb and everything that is happening to us, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like the frog in the water, the pot of water, you see, when the heat is turned up under the pot. As the water increases in temperature, the frog adjusts its body temperature to suit until it's too late. And it's amazing, you know, and I'm going to go just now. It's amazing how we among ourselves don't trust one another. And I'm not lying. Everybody knows this. The way we treat one another, we don't trust one another. Listen to how we talk about each other. Look at how we behave to one another. Look at what is done to us by us. And so we have a mistrust. But we are people who we see each day, whether family, neighbors, as the case may be. We know who we're dealing with. We see them every day. We don't trust. But it's amazing that others who we don't know, how when we have to speak of a reservation that we have because something just is not adding up, we are labeled as being xenophobic. Trust for others is in order. We let our whole belly exposed to them, things where we don't, and we will not discuss with our own because we don't trust one another. We go and we expose everything to somebody who we don't know. Persons among us who help us when we are down in our lowest moments, extend a hand, help, turn around and be ungrateful. Somebody who they don't know, just give them a beer and they refer to them as a friend. But those who they see and help them, they never refer to them as a friend. You see how this thing is turned upside down? Well, as the elders used to say, who can't hear, gonna feel. If they don't want to hear by the sound of the voice, they will hear by the cracking of the whip. And I add on my other line to that. And who can't hear by the cracking of the whip is going to hear by the tolling of the bell. Have a blessed day, Mr. Moderator.
All right, caller, you too, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We're taking your calls here on 98.9, and the phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the ear. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. And you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, man. You're giving God thanks, you know. I spend the rest of the morning before reconnecting with some of my former co-workers, you know. Because every time you turn around, you hear somebody dead. So before you wait to ball at the funeral, we have to take some time to check upon each other. You see what I mean, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Some people who you went to school with. You said, when last did you see Mary? Some of you only know Mary when you hear ZIZ bring out the death report. And then you say, oh, man, we went to school together. Oh, you know, we used to work together, so and so. And we tend to disconnect from each other. So let me send some condolences down to Sandy Point, to the family of my niece. I have a niece who passed. Colette Warner, which is my brother's daughter. She passed. So condolences to Karinda, her sister, and all the family members and her children. May the Lord comfort them. Now, Devon, walk around, Basti. You know, I hear this lot of talk. We have to have this history of what goes on, who controls the economy, you know. You walk around Liverpool Road, Church Street, all of those roads. Ask yourself, who own Bastille? Who own Bastille?
Good question.
I mean, really, we got a lot of complaint about the Chinese, while we really ignore the other ethnic groups. And, you know, the sad thing is that the commentator belonged to one of them. They come in with a suitcase on their head, and they come in with a donkey cart, and they help each other to acquire Central Bastille. Come across Liverpool Road, and when they're ready and they're old and they're able, they sell it to another one of another ethnic group other than black people. Some of them here since 1930. When? Have they even given a scholarship to any child? Any black child? I have been inside of some of the enterprise, you know, and you wouldn't believe with the indignity with which they treat the black people working in the store. Bad word and carry on. Who owned the place? That Chinese on Spratt Street. Who used to own that business there? You know what I mean, right?
No, not.
They have a big supermarket up on Spratt Street, a Chinese one.
Oh, okay.
Who used to own those buildings there? Mm-hmm. You know, I was told by a relative of mine, a relative-in-law said they were trying to acquire one of the buildings owned by that family. I was told that they're not going to sell their business to black people. You walk around Boston, they got some of them locked down, one hauling down. The price beyond the reach of black people who build it up. They all bring in the auntie, the uncle, the cousin, the mammy, the mammy. So when we are analyzing, we must do free and just analysis. Free and just. One, the Coach B was one of the family one. Before they sell it to one of us, they sell it to Rams. You come across Liverpool Road. I mean, Spratt Street, all kind of derelict buildings, you know, that black people could have used. They could have even turned over some of the stores them to black people, who would have worked their decades like a donkey with all kind of insult. We have to get the history right. You just can't pick on one set, because when everybody not stupid. We are the one who encourage it. As I said, I raised the alarm. I said what the country should do. Have a list of the areas in which you wish to have investment. That's what other countries do, you know. You don't come in and do what you want. You said these are the areas we're looking for investors. You understand what I'm saying, Devon?
Yeah, I'm following you.
That's what they should have done. We're not making a big hullabaloo after we done sing and eat and dance and the election. This last election was based on other nationalities, you know, and ethnic groups, more than on us. Are you aware of that?
How so? Explain to me.
Every party had a Spanish party. Everyone. Man about Nevis, eh? Nevis is more Guyanese and Welsh. Every one of them, they were making them promises. We were so much in tune with the noise that we don't listen. We don't listen. We don't read. And by the way, nobody with no citizenship or investment coming inside there to work on the job site. When they give these contracts to the Chinese investor, written into the contract is his ability to bring in workers. That one right down by St. Paul's, you know. Black people were passing while Chinese working. We give them the right. We also give people the right, the investors, not to have the place unionized, while the Labour Party, out of which the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labour Union came. Sit down there. In our labor laws, the labor law says first preference must be given to the citizens or the nationals of the country. But you don't tell them when they come, they could do what they want. Immigration is there, you know. My sister, God bless her soul, she once worked in the immigration department. And she used to go down along in Brampton and tell them, hello, when I come Monday, don't let me see you in here. You came on a visitor, whatever, you cannot work in here. Well, no immigration officer can take it upon themselves to go and contradict any policy, written or unwritten, by the government. Our politicians, they like them out, you know, they like them out on the belly. They're eating and drinking down the people's food. You expect them to allow you to go down there or go across there to tell people they can't think? They have the power, you know. They have the power to enforce the law. We're backing up the wrong tree. So when we are complaining, we complain to the wrong people, go complain to the parties, past, present, and to come. The people who buy citizenship, when somebody could afford to give away, you know, SIDF is giveaway. 250,000, you think they're coming down here to look work? You think they're coming down here to look work? We got to educate ourselves. These are millionaires. I will want somebody give me 250,000 US. You want one, they one. But you could do with that.
A lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know where we get the idea that the people in them, no, darling, those who you see come and bring people were given the permission to do so. Them they come as family and all kind of mix-up story. Those are poor people. You see them, they work from morning till night with no rest. Why you don't go and talk to the owner of the business? I think we're fooling our people, and we are excluding people who traditionally made all their money off the back of black people. And what they get? What they get? So when they broaden the discussion, the Lebanese, the Syrians, the Chinese, the Indian, all of them. So you're balling now. You're balling now. The way you weren't balling before. We're wasting time. And for my good friend in Nevis, now shouldn't you be helping the divisions to help to register since you work there? And under what condition the company before left? Now, if the company, I don't know, you're from Nevis, you could tell me, right? If the people feel that the possibility of not being paid can happen in St. Kitts, the one we had, people couldn't get their money, and when you went to get your money, they're gone. So under what condition did the brown thing leave? Because I heard Mark Branchy talking about it. It is everybody except divisions and kittitions who are signing up. So maybe she could come back on and explain under what, because I expect her as a manager to do the recruiting or even go back and help out, you know? Encourage your people, but first let us know, why would people who need a job not going to register? You have any idea, Devon?
Maybe they don't need the job.
But what kind of pay they're going to get? Because call center good for that, you know. When time to pay, you can't find them. How did the call center in Nevis close down?
I don't know.
Were they giving severance pay and all of that?
I believe so, yes.
Huh?
Yes.
They got severance pay?
Yes.
What kind of pay they get? But you all please, we don't want nobody bawling on the phone or on the radio if you need. And they say teachers could come. So please, because remember, sooner or later the government will have to cut the staff. The IMF already sent out the notice, personal income tax, reduction of government employees. So if for now, take what you can get. But I would like the young lady from Nevis, who was quite involved with the one before, give us some idea as to why are Visions and Kitchen hesitant. And the people who are turning up, is there anybody there to check their immigration status? Because you can't wait until the people start to work to talk about you're going to turn away. You can't wait then. They say the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Guyanese, everybody, and one or two. So we want to know what is going on. So may God bless this country, and everyone keep yourself up here. Don't let nobody, because the CBI, she's talking about the SIDF board, there was a SIDF board. But remember that now the money goes straight into the consolidated fund. The person to oversee the fund is the financial officer and the Minister of Finance, so that there's no need for a board. You follow that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and the rest of you please do it. Go online on the SIDF website. There are accounts there. The name of the board members. You can't have a board. You can't have a board on the government treasury. How does that go? That is the work for the audit department. All right then. So condolences to all those who are grieving. Eva Taylor, she was buried this week. No, she's going to bury Friday. That's my co-worker. And all my other co-workers. At home or abroad, I love you, I still remember all the good days. So God bless you.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on 98.9. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman & Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It's Wednesday, April 26, 2023, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls here on Voices. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. Mr. Cornelius, you hear me?
Yes, caller, go ahead. Good afternoon. I'm hearing you.
Yeah. I just love to listen to Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry is someone who can educate the entire Federation because she knows a lot of what she's saying. And all those buildings which she speaks about, they will belong to the Askafans. If you don't know, I'm telling you, they will belong to the Askafan and still belong to the Askafans. But I do not have anything against Mr. Askafan. But I want him to come back on the radio and let us know why is it the Attorney General is still in office, and why is it that the Trade and Labour Union is down the hill, and why is it the Labour Commission office has taken over, because people is out there asking for their money, which is being sent home and cannot get their money. And it is time enough that somebody could come and explain to the people why is it they cannot get their money. Because it is hard enough for you to go in a job, being sent home, and looking out for yourself and spend money, and you cannot get it. But I think we in Sinkers need to join a union where the union could go and negotiate that people could get their money. Have a pleasant good afternoon.
All right, Carla, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 18 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. The overseas numbers for the USA and Canada are 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. And if you are in the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon again. And on the backdrop of our previous call, and that is to show you, Mr. Moderator, if those who are here, living among us for so long, right, they treat us with such disdain, and sometimes you could really see how they despise us, okay? And some would say that they have not assimilated, but no, I don't think so. I don't like the idea about anybody assimilating into nothing. People have their own culture, they have their own thing and whatsoever. I don't want anybody to be me, and I don't want anybody to force me to be them. But when you're going to look at a country where you have different kinds and different sorts, somebody's going to take dominance. So it's the onus is on everybody to look out for their own. Right? Some years ago, this is to show you, because a lot of things happening on this little island, and many people are not paying attention. I don't know if this is exactly what the Bible states when it says that God's people, they see, but they perceive not. They read, yet they don't understand. You see? Maybe this is what is really in operation, and they don't really understand. But a lot is happening here that that should cause us to open our eyes. Some years ago, I happened to be in a store, cloth store. Well, the person, when I went inside there, the person had some stuff there, some boxes with some stuff in it that I don't know if they were up for sale or whatever, but I guess maybe they were at a reduced price. Had some shoes, and you can look at the shoes and see that they were from way back when. It could have been from the 1950s, could have been from the 1960s, right? They were very, very comfortable, but they were being sold out. I have to say that. And they had some thread and whatsoever. Looking at the thread, they look very wholesome. But as soon as you take it up in your hand, everything just reduced to dust. So they are dry rotten, so they were there for years. So when I stepped inside, they had maybe about 4 more local people inside there. So one of the women called the woman by name and said, you have these things here for so long. Well, at some point you could have sold them out at a reduced price, and things. And right now here I can see the woman in my mind's eye sitting on her chair by the doorway with the cane in her hand. And she said, me? sell out me things them to black people. Me, I ain't selling out the things to the black people. Before me sell out me things to black people, I take them down the bay and let the sea go with them. I stood up. I looked at that lady and I looked at my people. And I was expecting the one who made the comment or asked or whatever said to the woman that she would have responded. She said nothing. I looked at the others around me. Nobody said anything. It's like there were zombies, whether they heard or whatsoever. And I'm saying, if this was a local person, the table would have turned. And, I said, let me not get involved. Because I was ready to say, had others had spoken up, I would have been there as a team. But nobody said anything, and I walked out. And I never went back in that place again. Today, that business place is no more. And I guess some people will know where the business place is and who I'm referring to. And whomsoever was inside there will know about this incident because they experienced it too. And there was another experience just opposite the road, but I will not speak to that. Something similar along the line. So you see, if who is among us for so many years, this is how we are seen and how we are treated. Imagine the many others out there. If they choose to come, what will happen? Especially if they come and they have money, and if the economy go into a state where we can't help ourselves economically because this citizenship not going to be for long, And if we don't come together right now and decide on the various means of trying to get revenue outside of tax, because you can't tax people, tax them neither. At some point, the system is going to break. So if they're going to come in with money, what do you think is going to happen to our people? Because when people have to survive, they will subject themselves to untold things that they would not ordinarily do when things are good. A lot of Africans are going to Dubai. Look at what is happening to the women in Dubai, rich men and all of that. Even, you understand, they even put them to have relations with dogs, all sort of things. When they go back to Africa with their money, they die because they get all kind of illnesses. It's diabolical. I don't know how many people like me are looking ahead when we're talking about xenophobia. Because ordinarily, you hear people say, we never had a lot of these houses or places of disrepute. And when certain kinds come in, we start seeing all these things. Men, Mr. Moderator, have a blessed day.
All right, Colin, and thank you for sharing that experience with us. Thank you so much for doing that. Shocking, I must say. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. It is 1:25. We have about 5 more minutes left. We'll see how many more calls we can get in this afternoon. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Devon.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I think we're overdoing it with this. And it is xenophobia, this kind of talk, right? In 2023, if you can't come up with a different model for developing your country and making sure that your people have a better standard and improving standard of living, then you really should not be attacking investment like this. Bringing up individual things like what was just done about a business that obviously did not have any respect for its workers doesn't help the situation. As mentioned, the business is not in operation now, and that's not surprising because any business who's going to have those kinds of practices cannot survive. Simple. Similarly, if the Chinese who are here do not give us value for the money that we spend, we would not go there. Right? This apart from the fact that some of them might be citizens. This thing about protecting businesses simply because they're from here is not the way to encourage efficiency, enterprise, and such like, and entrepreneurship. Okay? It's a competitive world, and we have to compete. And we don't compete by giving all kinds of government handouts or making sure that the particular business is given, what you call it, subsidies and those things. That is a sure way to inefficiency, and that is not what we want. I know it's controversial, but what you should be doing is looking at the practices of these people, whether Chinese, Indians, or whoever else, and see why they are successful and imitate the good stuff. Right? That is what we should be doing. That is what so many other civilizations did. They imitated and perfected stuff from other civilizations. That's what the Japanese did. You remember when the Japanese used to be known for inferior goods? They copied Western techniques and so on, and then inserted their own until they became good, better than some of their products became better than the Western products. That is how you progress, right? So I think we should just finish away with this xenophobic talk. It doesn't do the country any good. And until you could come up with a different model of building your country, right? And I haven't seen any small country around here who have done it that we can emulate. Until we can come up with our own model or a better model for development, don't take bread out of people's mouth and then you can't give them even a biscuit, right? One question, though, to you. You mentioned that the prime ministers, both of them, the ex and the current, directed you to the CBI office to find the answers that you needed. That's correct?
Yes.
Did you go there?
I have made several attempts, calls, emails, you name it. I don't know where the actual office is, I must be honest with you. I will have to go there physically. But calls and emails, and this is over about maybe going on 3 years now.
Yeah, well, it would be good for you to follow up on that and actually hit the pavement and go to wherever it is supposed to be. Because, in my estimation, this is information that we should know. I don't understand why other countries in the region do it. They give a kind of report, whether quarterly or biannually or whatever, about how many passports were sold and that kind of data. I don't understand why we can't do the same here, why it should be secret. And even if there are things that they don't want to give out, at least give us an idea of how the CBI is performing now, let's say, in comparison to how it was a year ago, so we can see at least trends, right? But to dismiss journalists like that, I don't think that's good at all. We don't want a stonewall in here. And it's going to be interesting to see, for instance, when the freedom of information become operationalized, if you're going to still get that kind of stonewalling. But I honestly, I don't understand why this information is not public. Do you? Can you give a reason?
I wish I can.
No?
No.
Because there must be a reason, right? But I don't know. The reason just evades me right now. I can't understand why that shouldn't be public information. How many passports are sold, how many new citizens we have, that kind of information, how much money. I think you would know eventually how much money is made from the CBI But the thing is, it comes a year too late. You don't know the trends. You don't know how much was done in, let's say, the first quarter or something like that. And I think that's good information to know. For business people, for the ordinary citizen even. When we speak we don't speak in the dark, and we know exactly what we're talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, Colin. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, April 26, 2023. And I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you so much for your calls, different views, and opinions. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and the rest of the week. Take good care. Bye-bye.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WIN FM.